On, hope everyone's still tuned in. We have had a little few technical difficulties that happens in the world of TV and internet and all that good stuff. But welcome back. I'm Stormy Norman Oliver. I'm your host. From what is this? Hanging from the Room or Community Crossfire, whatever you want to call it. But like I said earlier, if you weren't tuned in, I want to give a big shout out to our Governor John Carney, who I thought have done an incredible job. Our Mayor Mike Brzezicki, who I think have done a tremendous job. Our Attorney General Kathleen Jennings, our U.S. Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester, and Darius Brown, our state senator. So, and I can name a lot of people. So what we're doing today, we have a few community activists who've put together a peaceful march that we hope there's going to be a peaceful march here in Wilmington, Delaware. We know a lot of people are marching around the country, but we're experiencing some of the same situations that you're experiencing in your city and in your state. So maybe with some of the questions and some of the things that we talk about today, you guys understand. Brandon, how you doing? Tell us a little bit about yourself real quickly, because we're going to get right into the interview.
Hello, my name is Brandon Fletcher. I am a student and community organizer and activist living in Newcastle, Delaware. I'm really here today to speak on behalf of other young black people. By day, I plot, I plan, I strategize, I organize, and I mobilize young people to take action in their own communities with their own friends, be that through voter registration, through attending a city council meeting, writing a petition, or signing a petition. I'm here today on behalf of all the young people in Delaware who deserve to be heard.
Okay, Miss A, Miss T, Miss V, and the last name is White, so that's a W.
Hello, everyone. My name is Arisa White. My organization is A White Light. I am here to inform the people. I am a teacher and counselor by day. I have been in the community for quite some time, working with the youth and their families. And I'm just here to make it right. Is really all it is. I'm here to spread the word.
What do you guys say to folks who are watching the looting around the country and even happened downtown Wilmington here in our state? What do you say to people who are afraid or saying it's okay to march peacefully, but how do you control the looting? Either one, speak now and forever hold your peace.
So I understand it. And I think that everybody is afraid to say that. Our community is in disparity, and we have lost all hope. We have lost faith. We have lost the momentum to even begin to believe that things are going to change. And my request is that we start internally. We work from the inside out. Our people are traumatized, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. You can't just make that kind of pain go away. So you have to understand that when there's no outlet and there are no answers and there is no justification, it's going to come out and it's not going to be very pretty. And we're looking and we're saying, oh, they shouldn't. How do people who feel like they have no voice express themselves? We've all been angry, we've all been frustrated, and until we were given the skills and the tools to change that or to push forward, we lashed out. Like, do you remember being young and do you remember playing with somebody and they did something to you
right.
and you didn't know how to express that you were upset and you got into a fight with them?
Right.
It's the same thing, it's just on a larger scale. So I'm not asking that we don't request that they stop. That's not what, but I want everyone to be empathetic. I want everybody to be understanding of people being sick and tired.
Sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Hey, let me cut you off for a second. Hey, Brandon, so I heard from a black business owner, two of them today, who are downtown Wilmington, who are very frustrated because they had to deal with the COVID-19. Now you had looting, or whatever you want to call it. I want to use the politically correct word, downtown Wilmington. Now he's losing clients again. And he said, it's affecting me as a black guy. And I hear what you're saying, Ms. White. How do you answer that, Brandon, as an organizer?
Yeah, to answer that question, I would say for a majority of the time, young people don't feel heard. They feel like they have nowhere where they can express their pain and their anger and where they can voice how they want to see change. And so we feel like the best way we can have a space for young black people to express that anger and that fear that we have will be an organized march where we commit to nonviolence. So to your question, I would say that we need a space for young black people to be able to come together in community and to be able to express how they feel.
Right. See, but how do you control? You guys are saying organize, and you're definitely organized. I get it, but you have a lot of outside agitators who are coming into different communities, including ours, and inciting something that you can't control. You guys say you got 500 people in our city, right, who you control, but then you got 3,000 people who are coming that you can't control. And you guys' name are on this as the organizers. How do you work through that?
Again, I would like to just point out to the fact that we are committed to nonviolence, and we believe that if we are in a space where it's organized and we have a space for people to properly express themselves and allow their voices to be heard, the people closest to the pain deserve to be heard,
Right.
not just people sitting up in Governor Carney's office. So I think it's important that we meet the people where they're at, and we allow them to have this space to peacefully express how they feel.
Ms. White, so what exactly do the organizers want? What do you guys want? What would be a happy medium or a nice outcome?
From who?
From the elected officials, the police department, the folks in charge. Why are you marching? Why do you march? Or why are you organizing?
Assist us in our process.
Okay, what's that process?
So the process is to take us out of the disparity that we are currently in. We are looking for assistance. Everyone keeps saying that we're not able to control, and that may even be the truth, that we can't control everyone. But we have enough voices and we have enough manpower to assist us in the process.
Gotcha.
We've requested that there be things in place to assist us, whether that's the police escorting us, whether that is free parking, us being tunneled back to our parking, shuttling. Shuttling happens for ice cream festivals. Make it right for the people. Show them that you care. Stand with us.
And this is
Stand
for the
united.
march?
Yes, for the march. Assist us in the process. After the march is over, I don't want the talks to continue. We need action. We need the disparity we need hope. That's what
Right.
we need. We need an opportunity to be heard. We need an opportunity to educate our community, and we need to be able to do it fairly. And I don't mean for 2 months. I don't mean a program that's funded for a summer. I mean permanently. Our people, we lack so much, and knowledge is the key to everything, because if you're stripped of everything and you still have your knowledge, you're capable of rebuilding. You can't do that. You can't build on mud land. You can't build on You can't build if a foundation is not stable, okay? The house is gonna sink. And right now we're sinking. We're sinking and no one's thrown in a life vest to save us. So we're asking the public officials, we're asking everyone, and I don't even understand, to be honest with you, why we're asking, because we voted. So you're for the people. We are the people.
This movement is something that I think that someone in the governor's office, since you brought it up, Brandon, yesterday said that I've never seen a march to this magnitude. And someone said, yeah, in '68. They said, well, we talk about now because we weren't born then. What would be a happy, or what would be a compromise outcome? I'm trying to figure out this, right, from my mind. What would be a compromise outcome after the march? Say after the march Friday, right? What are you hoping to accomplish?
So what I would say to that question is that we don't want this just to be about a protest. We want this to be a longer term strategy where we have all those people who are empowered to be their call to action. Who's your state senator? Who's your state rep? Who is representing you in the county council? We want those people to know. That's why we're having voter registration. We're having people who have census. We really want this to be an opportunity to go beyond just a march for George Floyd and many of the other Black lives who were lost due to police violence, but to really be one step forward to being a call to action for many people who may not know that getting involved politically is something that I can do. knowing who represents me at all levels of government is something that I need to know in order for me to voice my opinion. So it's beyond a protest. It's also a longer-term strategy in implementing some of the policies that we would all like to see as Black people to benefit our community.
I tell you what I've noticed, that there's been there's a lot of diversity. I've seen just as many white people involved with these marches and this movement. But I want to ask both of you, and you can answer it in any way you want, because this is Crossfire. I'll let you vent and say whatever you want. I have a little cognac in this glass, so I'm good. I'm joking, it's water. What has frustrated you the most through this process, because you're in the trenches, right? And what has frustrated you up until now? You understand my point? Something has triggered something to make you frustrated, right? But now you're here in this process. I'm gonna ask both of you in your own way. Ms. White, you could go first, then Brandon, you could go second. What were you frustrated about before, and now that you're in it, why are you frustrated?
It's the same answer. Everybody forgets that we're human.
I didn't hear you, what you say?
Everybody forgets that we're human.
Oh, wow.
We're human. If I cut you, no matter your skin color, you are going to bleed.
Wow.
If I do something to hurt you, as far as your feelings, your emotions, it's going to affect you. We have forgotten that we're human beings. Somewhere along the line,
Wow.
the nation has forgotten that Black people, African Americans, whatever it is you decide to categorize us as, we are humans. We are human beings. So if you hit me, it's going to hurt. My
Wow.
skin might be darker, but if you throw something at me, I'm gonna bruise as well. We're humans.
Talk about it.
And the frustrating point is that people want us to sell our souls to simply say, it's okay, let's sweep this under the rug, as we've done for so many other years. We'll get you to a certain point, and then after that, you should become complacent. Our people are tired. This generation is tired. We're over it. We're over being complacent. So the pot has brewed so long that it's starting to spill over. So there is a mess on the side of the pot, but the pot is still the pot. And the things in the pot are still there. And we forget to address that. We forget to address that we are human beings and we should be treated as such. And I don't know how that's lost in translation. I don't understand how people, whether you sit in a $400,000 house or a Section 8 home, forget that you're still a human. We can't continue like this.
I think that's the underlying issue. Brandon, give me where you at?
I would say, as an organizer, I believe I am the people who I serve. So I believe that everyone has power, and no matter where they're at. I believe people who aren't involved in the political process need to take an opportunity to use this as their call to action, to say I deserve to be at those tables as well, where people are making decisions about my life regarding policing in our communities. People need to realize that where you're at is important and it needs to be heard. And the people in positions of power need to start listening to those people who feel as though they have no power where they're at. So I think it's important that we empower those voices to take action.
Well, thank you so much. We have a few organizers here. I want to thank you too for coming on first. I got a text right now from a good friend of mine. He's an older white guy. His name's Mike Walls. He was telling me that his granddaughter is going to be out marching and supporting the cause. I mean, those are the kind of people who we're talking about. So my grandson, who's really one of my co-hosts, he couldn't make it this afternoon. But we're going to take a quick break, and I hope you guys are enjoying this conversation. And the conversation is going to keep going on, whether you like it or not. If you don't like the conversation, turn to Andy Griffiths or Prince of Bel-Air, or I don't know. Let's take a break, Ivan, before I get in trouble.
Visit our website at ccacde.org. Be sure to stop in during our Art Loop on First Fridays for a happy hour networking mixers. Christina Cultural Arts Center, we're here for you.
Second Chances Forum is kicking off today an ambitious program to tackle childhood obesity and food deserts, all at the same time. Our next door neighbor is Eastside Charter, and we plan on Friday, March 20th, to kick off a 12-week program, we will deliver 200 community-supported agriculture, CSA packages, of 6 different crops we grow here at 3030 Bauer Street to 200 children and their families at Eastside Charter. Each one of those packages will contain 6 different things that are nutritious, and we'll rotate what is in there, and we'll have recipes and menus on how you can use this lovely food. Each package costs $20 a week. For 12 weeks is $240. And if you would like to support it, please go to our website, www.second, S-E-C-O-N-D, chances, C-H-A-N-C-E-S, farm.com. And there's a place where you can support our community-supported agriculture, our CSA program. It's one way. For $20 a week, you can make an impact on childhood obesity and food deserts in Wilmington.
Hi, I'm Andre Jones, a drama teacher at Christina Cultural Arts Center. I teach acting through narrative design. What is that, you say? Well, it's learning how to be while imagining and writing it down. Essentially, experimenting with writing and acting simultaneously. The better you write, the richer the scene. The better you act, the better you can be. Be bold, be brilliant, be original, be imaginative, be generous in giving, but whatever you do, be. Because if you don't be, who do? Come, be with us. Christina Cultural Arts. Inspire greatness.
Norman Oliver, Community Crossfire, another point of view. A lot of things are happening in our state here in Delaware. A lot of things are happening around the country and actually around the world. People are frustrated with police brutality, lack of resources, lack of opportunities. And people, God, I've never seen a movement like that. We have COVID-19, then we have this. And we're giving people an opportunity who are directly involved. We want to know what they're thinking, and people around the country are watching it, tuning in. And we're small Delaware. We're just like California. We're like New York. We're like Chicago. We're like Detroit. We're not, like anybody else. I mean, we're getting hit, and a lot of people are frustrated here. So I was been able to invite some folks who are some organizers here, some activists. A number of us, from the governor to the mayor to the senators, congresspeople, U.S. senators, clergy, a lot of clergy was involved, been trying to figure this out, and we're going to have a big march here in Delaware tomorrow, which I'm not trying to promote, but I'm just being reality. How you doing? I got my niece on. She's an activist. She's also running for school district here, and and I'm glad of that, by the way, because we have to get some young folks run for school districts, right? It's good to run for council and president of this and senator, but it starts at the school district level, teaching our youngsters, teaching our kids. And how you doing, Lil? Tell me a little bit about yourself before I go
crazy. Thank you for the introduction, Uncle Stormin. Yes, my name is Lillian Oliver. I am a resident from Wilmington, Delaware, born and raised. I have my own nonprofit called Ascending Queens, where I've reached out to over 250 girls from the age of 13 to 18 within the last 5 years, and I also have my own summer enrichment camp called Ascending Generation Summer Enrichment Camp, where we focus on math and reading and English, as well as promoting the fine arts. Unfortunately, this summer I will not be running my summer camp due to the pandemic, but yeah, I'm a teacher. I'm a middle school teacher at the same school that Miss A work at, and I'm just here to be a vessel and be a voice for not only my community, but all communities, especially the kids that live in the community, people that don't have a voice.
Let me jump right into it while I got you two ladies on air, right? A friend of mine, Shannon McCain, was he asked me a question when we were driving to the studio. He said, Norm, and I hope I'm not embarrassing, but I don't care about embarrassing him. What about some young blacks who want to become police officers, which is a great profession, right? And you have folks out here like Killer Police, the Pigs, and they're sellouts. And so folks who are coming, who wants to be police officers, I mean, every cop in this country is not bad. I would say 10, 15, 20%, like 10, 15, 20% of the people in general are bad. But now you shine that light on them. What do you say that? And I mean, I'm speaking for me. I hope you guys can answer it, because everything's on the table now. When you become a leader like you guys are now, when you become activists like you are now, everything's on the table and every question is on the table, and people want to hear from you, especially people who are watching. And probably somebody watching has an answer. Somebody texted me and said that they wouldn't serve a police officer in one of the restaurants. Do you think that's a little far? Speak now, if I ever hold you peace. Like, I know you know a little sign language,
Yes.
but you got to talk on this show.
I do, because again, the space and place that I always refer back to is that we're human, you know. Until you've shown or proven to be wrong, I'm not here to judge you. And that's the problem now. We're being judged because of what we look like. You know, when we get pulled over, we are driving while black, and that is us being, that's, you know, their reasoning. So no, it comes back to being human. You don't stop servicing people. You don't stop doing the things that you are supposed to do as a decent human being, let alone a human being. You don't get to say, we don't get to pick and choose that I'm going to be righteous today, but I'm not going to be righteous on Tuesday, or I'm going to walk in a certain light today, but I'm not going to walk in that same light tomorrow. I need everybody to be genuine to who they are. It allows us to see. And these police officers, you know, the people in power that are showing us who they are, we have to take it for that. And this is where we make a stand. This is where we make a change. So those people who do want to become cops, yes, I ask that you do that. I ask that you don't get complacent and sell your soul. I ask that whatever your reasons are that you've started this, continue. Make that the thing that guides you. Make that the thing that leads you. Continue to work in whatever your light is. Push forward in being the best possible human being that you can be, no matter the circumstances, because that's what's going to get us to the next level, is those people that are continuing to not compromise, continuing to not sell their soul, continuing to not be complacent, that are going to make this movement what it is.
Lil?
And I'm gonna piggyback off of you, Queen. I'm not gonna say it's the police. I'm gonna say it's the system, because, like you said, they're people. They're human. I think that when police decide to become a cop, like, you know, if I ask my nephew right now, what do you want to be when you grow up? He's going to say he want to be a police officer. So it was a point in time, I feel like, in my humble heart, that when they decided to join the force, they had good intentions. I just think after a while, it just get watered down with a whole bunch of corruptness. And I think that, you know, police officers need mental health evaluations, need mental health.
They need it all. We have
They need it all.
we have to address it.
assessments.
Yeah.
So before they get on the police department, they need a psychologist, you know,
Yes,
a
and
whole
if you
report
don't-
like,
if
is
you
this
don't
guy
get-
on Xanax?
Yes, and somebody that is not biased, somebody that is not part of the systematic oppression. We needed to be an unbiased, I needed to be somebody out of this circle, not in the network. You know how you go to the insurance company and it's in the network, so it works? No, I don't need anybody in the network. I needed to be genuine. I need to know that, you know what, this particular individual has underlying issues that are gonna cause us problems, you know? And then I also need the people that are there to be trained, because if you're so far removed from something and it doesn't affect your everyday or your day-to-day, how do you deal with it? How do you know to be empathetic?
And then not only that, Miss White, I want to add that, you know, when I was growing up, the police that was on the block in the community, they used to get out the car, they, you know, play double dutch with us, you know,
Yep.
little kickball. You know, they position police in the community to, you know, police the community, but they're not interacting with the community. So the community is not going to feel safe, not going to feel like they can go and talk to that cop, because they're not like the cops growing up from when I grew up.
You don't feel
Right.
safe with the cops here in Wilmington?
I'm not going to say as a whole. I can say that I do get nervous when I feel like they pulling me over. I
Interesting.
get like that nervous feeling. You know, I have some cops, Brother Fahim on the force, you know, he's one of the many, but I should be able to name 10 to 20 cops that I have a relationship with.
So you like the
know?
community policing atmosphere, like
Yes.
interaction. Let me ask you a quick question, Lil. We have the guy who is organizing sitting out here, and I'm gonna bring him on, Coby Owens, who's the community organizer. So let's talk about this from an educational standpoint, right? You're running for school district, right?
Great Place School Board District.
So what would be some of the problems that you see that are happening in the school district that you think needs to be changed?
As far as policing,
Not policing, just in general. I mean, the whole educational system, right? Do you think that it's adversely affecting the minority community?
No.
I mean, if you look at the educational system, right? We have again we got more blacks dropping out of school. I mean, mathematics and reading is lower than most whites. I mean, So, if you see that, how do you change that?
we have to start within oneself. We have to start within our community. We have to start bridging the gap between communities and schools. It's a gap between communities and schools. I'm 33 years old, and to be honest, I can say it proud that I just started learning about the school board within the last year or two, just being informed. We are misinformed as the black and brown community. They fail our kids, they pass our kids. We need to start within our community and work our way out. I feel like, I can't bring change overnight, but we need to start, addressing the kids in our community and in all communities where they're at. Everybody got different needs, everybody got different mental health illness or whatever you call it before walking into the school. People are getting up with 7 to 8 siblings, getting them dressed, getting on the bus, and then they get to school and be reprimanded for not having a pencil.
Wow. I want to thank you guys for coming. We have the organizer here, Coby Owens, so we're going to take a break. But guess what? I'm voting for you. I support you, and I can be biased. And
July
I don't
21st.
care. I don't care if I'm on the air and they say you can't be biased. I'm being biased. I'm voting for Lillian Oliver.
Thank
and I'm going to be, Crossfire, we'll be voting for some other candidates that we'll be having on this show that we will support, and the mayor being one of them. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Wait. Sit down.
I'm Tabitha Aries, Christina Cultural Arts Center's School of the Arts Program Manager. CCAC offers fall and winter spring class sessions, which can be viewed on our customer portal. Just visit our website at ccacde.org. Be sure to stop in during our Art Loop on First Fridays for a happy hour networking mixers. Christina Cultural Arts Center, we're here for you.
Second Chances Farm is kicking off today an ambitious program to tackle childhood obesity and food deserts all at the same time. Our next door neighbor is Eastside Charter, and we plan on Friday, March 20th to kick off a 12-week program. We will deliver 200 community-supported agriculture, CSA packages of 6 different crops we grow here at 3030 Bauer Street to 200 children and their families at Eastside Charter. Each one of those packages will contain 6 different things that are nutritious, and we'll rotate what is in there, and we'll have recipes and menus on how you can use this lovely food. Each package costs $20 a week. For 12 weeks is $240. And if you would like to support it, please go to our website, www.second, S-E-C-O-N-D, chances, C-H-A-N-C-E-S, farm.com, and there's a place where you can support our community-supported agriculture, our CSA program. It's one way. For $20 a week, you can make an impact on childhood obesity and food deserts in Wilmington.
Hi, I'm Andre Jones, a drama teacher at Christina Cultural Arts Center. I teach acting through narrative design. What is that, you say? Well, it's learning how to be while imagining and writing it down. Essentially, experimenting with writing and acting simultaneously. The better you write, the richer the scene. The better you act, the better you can be. be bold, be brilliant, be original, be imaginative, be generous in giving, but whatever you do, be. Because if you don't be, who do? Come, be with us. Christina Cultural Arts. Inspire greatness.
How you doing? Welcome back to Community Crossfire, another point of view. I'm your host, Norman Oliver, missing my co-host, Jermaine Anderson Jr., but he will be back next time because he had a lot of questions. This is a serious issue we're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen, not only here in the state of Delaware, but around the world, around the country. One of the organizers here just joined us, and he's been organizing rallies, not just here in Delaware, but he's been a part of them, Ferguson, and around the country, other ways. His name is Coby Owens, and I'm going to let Coby come in his own way, and I'm going to ask Coby some pointed questions about how he feels, what he thinks the outcome should be, not just in the march here, but marches around the country. And I have Garrison, and Garrison's going to come in his own way. They could kind of introduce themselves first, and then I will ask some questions. We can start with you, Coby. If you could tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, my name is Coby Owens, born and raised here in the city of Wilmington. I'm a candidate for Wilmington City Council, but before anything else, I'm an organizer. This is my community that's being hurt, that is going through such pain that I think right now, when we saw the death of George Floyd, everyone just said this right here is enough. We are taking a stand. We are demanding action. And I think what's happening around the country right now is you're seeing that demonstration of what we are feeling. We are feeling hurt. We are feeling broken. But also what you're starting to see now is you're starting to see unity among our community and our allies coming out and support us. And to say to our elected officials, y'all must do something right now. And we understand that things won't change overnight, but the process has to start right now. So I think what's happening is a sign of love, a sign of unity, and we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep it going for as long as possible because we don't want to see another Trayvon. We don't want to see another Mike Brown. We don't want to see another Breonna Taylor, and definitely not another George Floyd. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm excited to be here, Norm. I'm excited to have this conversation today.
Thank you.
And thank you again.
Young man, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Definitely, yeah. So again, thank you for having us. And my name is Garrison Davis. I'm one of the co-coordinators for Delaware for Police Oversight. And our goal, our express goal, is to hold police accountable. And the way we believe that can happen is through community review boards. That means that people from the community are reviewing incidents with the police and making sure that when misconduct has happened, that they're being held accountable, and as well as looking at the policies and figuring out how can we change the policies of police in order to protect our community further. Originally, I'm from Middletown, Delaware, but this is an issue that affects the entire state, and that's why what we're fighting for needs to be statewide.
Garrison and Coby, you both mentioned the Police Review Board, and I thought I heard the mayor of the city of Wilmington said, okay, I can see whatever to having a police review board. I can see to saying we would have body cams on police. I think that was some of you guys that was like some of the negotiation tools. I was in some of the negotiation. We were there, Coby, 11:30 at night with the mayor and the governor and Darius Brown, Senator Darius Brown. Is that a starting point, or is there something else I'm missing?
Well, to be clear, if I can start off,
Go ahead,
to be
fine.
clear, while the mayor may support community review boards, his role in that process is getting the Wilmington PED to adhere also to community review boards. Because again, this needs to be a statewide process. Like, yes, it's good if Wilmington has just the review board, but at the end of the day, the mayor's primary role should be to provide the cameras, and the community review board needs to have jurisdiction over the Wilmington Police Department, or
But
at the
he
very
agreed
least have access.
he agreed to provide the cameras. I was there.
Well,
Is that enough, or that's not enough?
so the cameras are good, but again, when we're talking about the community review board, what
Gotcha.
matters there is compliance from the Wilmington Police Department, and that can directly be affected by the mayor's influence.
Gotcha. Coby, you said a few times, you talked about policy. Could you be specific? What kind of policy would you like to see in place?
Yeah, so, depending on what level, again, when I organize on a local, county,
campus and state base. So really, a lot of the policies we are pushing for when it deals with excessive force, police accountability, that ties into changing the Delaware Code, Title 11, Chapter 92, which is the Law Enforcement Bill of Rights, as well as addressing some excessive force measures that is in that title as well too. So Title 11, Chapter 4, Section 46 and 64 and 67. So that's why we really need everyone on board. And again, it's not just the city of Wilmington. All the mayors should be on board with this, pushing for the General Assembly and the governor's office and the AG to work with this. We've started the conversations, but it has to go a lot deeper. And you can't just have some people around the table. You have to have all the key players there. So I think, the conversation was started, but we're not done, and that's what we're saying. We're saying it cannot just die off because the end of the session is July 1st and people aren't even meeting right now. We're saying that this has to happen, and until everyone's on the same page with that, that's not a solid thing that we can just agree to. We have to have everyone at the table, and we have to understand what role it plays with the community review boards.
So let me get this clear. So also let me give Richard Smith a shout out. So Coby, you have Richard Smith, the president of NAACP. Mm-hmm. You have the Governor John Carney at the table. You have the mayor of our city at the table. You have our attorney general at the table. You have our Congresswoman Lisa Blunt Rochester. You have our U.S. Senator Chris Coons at the table. You have our county executive Matt Myers at the table. You have our Lieutenant Governor Beth Hall Long. You have our City Council President Honey Fisher Bass. You have Michelle Hawley, Xanthia Oliver. You have Tony Allen, the president of Delaware State University. Who else do you want at the table?
So I didn't know all those people were at the table, especially not the few at the end. I'm glad if they want to join in on these talks, but I think it would be robust for us all to be there and everyone see who's at the table. But also, here's the thing. We have to have the FOP there. We have to understand that.
I can see that.
We also have to understand that the FOP still has a strong hold on the General Assembly. There's a lot of former cops there, and we have to have a caucus strategy around getting that done. It's so much more that goes into it, and I don't know if I articulated the right way, but it's a strategy behind everything, right? Mm-hmm. It's not just agreeing for a quick pro quo. It's agreeing that we're going to actually get something done for our community and what that is going to look like. And with the understanding that it will be a process, but that process is going to have input not only from those community elected leaders, those elected officials, it's going to have input from the community, the people who are on the street every day, the people who are struggling right now. They have to be at the table because they're most proximate to the issue. So they're going to have the best solutions on how to fix the problems that they're dealing with every single day.
I asked the young ladies and Brandon here before you guys got here, but you guys are the co-chairs of this march, and so I asked you guys this question. How do you control the outside forces that will, I guarantee you, and I'm telling everybody who's watching this, that will come in here? My good friend, Pastor D, I asked him the same question. Maybe I asked a little different, and I certainly didn't want to blame him because I think he's doing a lot of good when it comes to the community level. But at some point, you're going to get organized protesters who are going to be at your march on Friday and could disrupt it. Then what happens? Do you have a strategy? Do you have something in place? How does that work out? I got to be honest. I'm afraid. That's why I told you I support you 100%. But I'm fearful because I've known you since you were a kid. I don't want your name to be associated because whoever's the leader, they're going to look to you, and the mic's going to be in your face.
Right, and a true leader has to stay out there no matter what. You can't be home at 10:30 when everything's hitting the fan. But here's the thing with that. We are strategizing for that. We have an exit plan. We have a dispersal plan for at the end of our march that we are going to be escorting people back to their cars and working with people. We are working with the Wilmington PD. We're working with DEMA. We are working with the entities that need to be there in order to keep this as peaceful as possible. And then also on top of that, we have community members who are signing up, who are taking de-escalation trainings, who are willing to stay out there for as long as possible to protect our city and to ensure nothing happens, because we all love this city so much, and that's what true leadership is. True leadership is being in the thick of it, even when it's uncomfortable, but standing up for what you believe in, standing up for the city you love. And the thing is, like I said, we're not going home once everyone just leaves. We're going to stay out there and make sure nothing happens. And I'm not saying we're going to stop everything. I'm saying we're setting it up for our city with the police and with our elected officials. Hopefully they join us to say we love this city. And I think that's what the message is of the march, that everyone loves each other.
In addition, if I may say so, in addition, let's not forget the role that elected officials can play in this. So, worst case scenario, let's say that this doesn't go as well as planned, and the elected officials don't give us what we want. There are only going to be more protests, and that's more opportunity for these outside actors to come in and mess up our city. At the end of the day, if the elected officials are able to work with us, if they're able to meet the needs of our protests, meet what we're asking, then there won't be an opportunity for any more riots or any more outside protesters to mess up what beautiful place we have here in Wilmington.
What happens? I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. I'm getting texts and people want me to ask you guys questions. What happens Saturday, Sunday, Monday? What happens after this at some point? Because I've been a part of a few of things that's happening in our city, our state, and I've watched some things that happen around the country. People get very uptight. Rodney King, Gardner, and a whole bunch of cases that you could probably quote more than me, Coby, because you're involved with it. And then it just dies down. Then something else happens, and people get excited again. How do you keep this going? How do you keep the mayor or the governor, after this happens, July the 6th, to return your call? You're getting return calls every day now, right? Because you're in it. What happens after this? What happens with your group after this?
So,
And also, before you say that, and also I want to know what outcome are you hoping for? Sorry about that.
So, and hopefully I can answer everything and take that in. So our number one aspect of anything is to keep this going. And like Garrison said, we're willing to, we're committed to. Just this weekend alone, there are actions planned, not just in the city of Wilmington, but in Dover, in Georgetown, in Middletown. So it's going to keep going, and people are still going to be there, and we're all committing to nonviolence and peacefulness. Again, but we, across this state, our community is so tired of the empty promises, these backroom doors that, you have the negotiation and then someone agrees to something and then you come back out 2 months later and they pull the chair right up from under you. So we're not saying we're taking that anymore. We're saying we're going to keep going, but you're going to have to work with us as well too. So, we sat down multiple times, and the negotiations have started. But I also believe they have not gone far enough. There were asks, right? But we're saying there's going to be more. And you have to understand there has to be more. There has to be more. Because when I say Black Lives Matter is not just police brutality. Because Black lives are being lost because of environmental injustices, economic instability, divestment in our communities, criminal justice system, and so much more. There is so much that has been done to our community, and it just hasn't been this week, this month, this year. This is a buildup of 400 years of oppression. While some have made it out of our communities and now live other places, there's still a lot of us in the struggle who are struggling to put food on the table every single day, who are struggling to send their kids to schools where they get a quality education.
And it's also and it's also important to remember that we do have asks. Now, when you look at a lot of what's going around, or when you look at what's happening around the country, you don't see a productive conversation. You don't see asks. You don't see changes being recommended, and you don't see people sitting at the negotiating table. With us, we have our asks. We have the body cams. We have the civilian review board.
Right.
Like, these are things that are meant to bring them to the table. We're not just out there just to talk. We're out there to act. And as far as what happens next, I believe that's just as much on our elected officials to receive our message and be willing to sit and talk further.
You guys are talking to a group of, I wouldn't say angry, frustrated, that would be the politically correct word to say, folks in your age group, I guess between 18 35, whatever. I seen a young lady had a sign up, said, "We're not our ancestors, we will F you up." Is that the sentiment that you hear a lot? Is that the mentality? Is that the frustration? We're not our ancestors. In other words, we're not the old black, we the new black. And I'm saying that because that's how the poster read. We will hurt someone. Is that the sentiment that you guys are getting, or is that just one person saying that?
Everybody has the right to feel how they want to feel. However, with this march in particular, it is meant to be peaceful. We have to understand that, yes, while people have that mentality, that mentality is also our leverage. So if you go ahead and you destroy our city, if you go ahead and you act on that mentality and begin being violent, then you automatically take the power away from what we're trying to achieve. So I understand that people feel that way, but that is not what we're looking to do with this march.
I really do appreciate the effort, and I think that you guys' intention is to have a nonviolent march. But when I talk to a guy like Skills from his barbershop, or to Ron Warren from his barbershop, these are black-owned businesses who got affected, and others, right? I just can't come off the top of my head, who've been affected. I kind of feel sorry for them also, because you guys, your heart in what you're doing is pure, but these guys have worked their whole life to start their own business, make a couple of dollars, and they get hit by the COVID-19. And no disrespect or no fault of you guys, they're going to get hit again. Downtown Wilmington has been closed since the last March, pretty much. So these guys just got open on a smaller basis. Some of the restaurants, some of the stores, right? And some of these people give back. How do you tell those guys, I'm sorry? How do you tell that business, we can work with you? I mean, that's how these are texts I'm getting.
Yeah, so I can tell you has been the messaging, is we're not here to say we hate cops. We're here to say we love the black community. And a part of the black community is black business. So that's why from Friday till Juneteenth, we're calling for everyone, not just the black people there, but the people who have more money, our allies of all races, to invest in black businesses. We will be releasing a list, and I think there's been lists released on Delaware Today already around this. We will be releasing a list of black businesses saying, invest your dollars in our community. You can't just say you stand there. We're not just a hashtag. We're not just a Facebook post. You have to put your effort into this. Meet us in the streets, meet us at the table, and put your dollars up where your mouth is. So that's what we're saying to people. We're saying invest in our communities. And I want to see those brothers achieve greatness. I want to see our community come up and be lifted up right now. But we also have to remember our sisters are struggling too. So that's why we want to bring everyone in, all the black community. And that's what we've been doing. We've been working with people who are union members. We've been working with the faith community. We've been working with people who work in corporate America, people who work in nonprofit, people who are small business owners, people who are on the street every day hustling. That's what we're bringing in. Because while we may be all different shades of black, black is beautiful. And and a part of that is all of us coming together and understanding that.
I would say this, you guys, you could chime in if you want. I would say, I've been a part of some negotiations. I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't care, you got some people who are fake elected officials, blah, 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 haven't even done one thing to help our community besides blah, 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 blah. I think that, and Coby, you can agree or disagree, that the governor, in my opinion, the mayor, the attorney general, our congresswoman, and many others, Richard Smith and Darius Brown and many others, St. Anthony Honey from those guys, in my opinion, have been at the table trying. I don't know what happens in Atlanta. I don't know what happens in Ohio, Chicago, Detroit, LA, New York. I think that you guys have had their ear. I think you've had an opportunity to say, this is what we want. I've sat there, and this is what we don't want. And I'm telling you dialogue and in your face. I think our chief of police have, and our police officers here, and I'm not sucking up to anybody, by the way, because I work for myself. I ain't one of those kind of dudes that got to say yes sir, yes master, and all that kind of stuff, right? But would you agree with that, Coby?
So yes, while there are some who are sitting around the table working in good faith, there's also other things going on. While we're talking about police brutality and police accountability, there's also cases right now where they're doing the exact opposite of what they're saying at these tables that they want to do. I believe you have to show good faith by doing that. Look, anything, nothing should be contingency. It should not be a contingent issue for us to do this. It should not be an issue for us to exercise our First Amendment right. And anything that's said at those tables should be taking place already. It should not take a death of another black man or another black sister to have this happen. And again, I may not be the best well-spoken person.
No, you're very
out
well-spoken.
there.
You're very well-spoken.
But here's my thing. Anything that has been said to me could have been done already. Anything that has been said to any of us could have been done already. It should not take this. And here's the thing. Policy, true policy, effective policy, does not take place in 12 hours of negotiations. That just does not happen.
Gotcha.
We have to go deeper than that.
So on top of that, let's also not forget that. Forgive me. Well, yes, I agree completely.
Okay, say what you're gonna say.
You left me. Give me a minute.
You agree with me? If you agree with me.
No, I agree with Coby. Yeah.
I know you agree with Coby, not me. So I mean, this is. You would agree though. This is a trying time, and I commend you guys. Let me say this. Let me be on record again. I commend you for your effort. Am I afraid of the outcome? Yes. And the only reason why is because you guys, and I heard you say this several times, we want a peaceful rally. We come from the Dr. Martin Luther King train of thought, whatever, right? But I've watched it and I've talked to professionals, I've talked to people in it. You got outside agitators, and sometimes you have skinheads and neo-Nazis are pretending to be a part of this. You have a lot of other variables. So it may not be your intention, and I hate to keep drilling down on it, but I'm drilling down on it because this is what's been happening, not just here in Delaware, but around the country. So you can speak to, we have a few more minutes, so you can speak to that or anything you want to speak to.
Yeah,
and you guys have been doing a great job. I want you to let it all out in the next 3 minutes, because speak now and forever hold your peace.
All right, can I speak real quick?
You can speak all day.
I just want to say this. The narrative that's out there is coming from the people in power, but here's the thing. You can watch what is happening on the news, or you can look at the actual community and what's actually happening across America. See, what is being highlighted is the negative of this, to take away from the message.
Gotcha.
But all across America right now, people on the ground, grassroots, there has been peaceful protests everywhere. There was just one up in Claymont. There's just one up in York, PA. There was another in Berks, PA. There was another down in Seaford. This has been happening not only through our state, but also here in Wilmington as well, too. There was 2 visuals that got 0 coverage that was extremely peaceful. The very next day, our community came together to clean up Market Street, and then there was a peaceful protest after. And it got 0 media coverage pretty much. So the narratives out there, you have to lift up the good and show people that things are happening because of this.
So you think the media is just concentrating on the bad stuff?
I'm not just saying that. I'm just saying it doesn't get the media coverage.
I got you.
That's what I'm saying.
But
and that's
also,
not a hit towards anyone. That's just saying it doesn't get the same media coverage.
So let's not forget that this is also about breaking the Delaware way. I mean, one way in order to make people feel like they're a part of the process is to be transparent, is to share information, and let people know when meetings are happening, what's happening at those meetings. And you don't necessarily have to have every single community person, person from the community in that room at that moment, but at the same time, when you share that information, we have methods like Facebook, we have methods like Twitter, we have methods like peaceful protests, where we can share how we feel about what's being said and how it's being said. So the Delaware way of doing things behind closed doors and smoky rooms, that can no longer happen. And that's another part of what this is about.
Okay, Coby, you want to say something in closing?
Norm, you fail, thank you so much for having me on and having this discussion. I think it was a needed discussion. I look forward to having them more. And I invite you to walk on the front lines with us in unison. My brother, I am with you. I hear you. And we can do this together.
Thank you so very much. Anything in closing, my man?
Yeah, so again, just like Coby said, thank you so much for having us. We appreciate the opportunity, we appreciate the platform, and we want to make it clear, we do not hate the police. We do not hate the people who represent the police or who wear the uniform every day. All we ask for is accountability. The same way they hold us accountable, we need to be able to hold them accountable as well.
Thank you, guys, and ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this dialogue. You have an open dialogue here on I want to thank Ivan and his staff, DETV. These guys, you guys do an incredible job. And at some point, these guys on this show, I treated them all to lunch yesterday. Maybe they'll give me some of my money back. That's a joke. You're supposed to smile, Coby. You're supposed to laugh. But this is a serious issue that's surrounding us, and I hope that you guys get a little glimpse of or inside of what these guys are talking about. What they're talking about is what's being talked about around the country. So you could kind of feel some of the strategies and some of the thought process. I'm looking forward to Jermaine joining me next week. And again, I'm passionate. I'm telling you, I'm fearful. And I've said this 75 times because I think what these guys are doing is honorable, is noble, and I think that their heart is in the right place. Let me be clear, I think their heart is in the right place. And again, Pastor D I had on last week, I don't think that he thought that march would go south. And we had a conversation, and he and I are friends, so I never meant to. I think somebody said that I went south on him. That was never meant to be. But if you come on this show, we're going to tell the truth. If you like me, you don't. If you don't like the show, if you don't like the format, you don't. Watch something else. Watch Gilligan's Islands. Watch Snoopy. I don't care. I mean, watch old basketball games. But I'm serious about this because I've been doing it for a long time also. I want to thank Shannon for bringing me down. Again, tune in and keep tuning in to DETV. These guys are doing an incredible job. And I want to thank you guys and everyone who watched. I hope you got something out of this. And like I said, my friends from around the country have been texting. They're watching in Atlanta. They're watching in Ohio, California. I mean, there's a lot of states are watching. But I'm out of here, and I'm going to take a toast.